If you made more money in 2026 than you did in 2025, the IRS already has a trap set for you, and most freelancers I talk to walk right into it around April 15th. The penalty rate the IRS is charging on underpayments right now is 8% annually, per the Q4 2025 rate the IRS published. And that rate has stayed sticky through early 2026 because the Federal Reserve has been slow to cut. 8%. On money you technically already owed but didn't send in on time. That's a worse rate than most credit cards used to charge a decade ago, and the wild part is there's a rule sitting right there in the tax code that makes the whole penalty disappear if you hit one specific number. Not reduce, disappear. And almost nobody I know in the freelance world is using it correctly. So let's talk about safe harbor, because once you actually understand how it works, quarterly taxes stop being this anxiety thing where you're guessing at what you'll make in November and start being a math problem you solved back in February. Here's the core idea. The IRS doesn't actually require you to pay exactly the right amount of tax during the year. They require you to pay enough, and enough has a legal definition. Under the safe harbor rules, these come out of Section 6654 of the tax code. If you're the kind of person who likes to read the source, you avoid the underpayment penalty entirely if you pay in, through withholding and quarterly estimates combined, either 90% of what you'll owe for the current tax year, or 100% of what you owed for the prior tax year. And if your adjusted gross income last year was over $150,000, that prior year number bumps up to 110%. That's the whole rule. That's it. Hit one of those two numbers and the IRS can't touch you with a penalty, even if you end up owing another 20 grand on April 15th. Now read that again, because the second option is the cheat code. You do not have to predict what you'll earn this year. You can completely ignore your current year income, look backwards at what you actually owed last year, that one number sitting on line 24 of your prior 1040, and just pay that. Divided by 4 times a year, done. The IRS calls this the prior year safe harbor, and honestly, I think most tax advisors bury the lead on this one because they want you to do quarterly projections every 3 months and pay them to run the numbers. You don't need to. If you had a clean tax return last year, you already have everything you need. Let me put real numbers on this so it stops feeling abstract. Say you're a freelance designer. Last year you netted $80,000 after expenses. You're single and your total federal tax liability on the 1040 came out to $16,200. That's roughly income tax plus the self-employment tax, which, according to the IRS, runs 15.3% on the first $168,600 of net earnings for 2024 and bumps to $176,000. $100 for 2025. Your prior year safe harbor number is that $16,200. Because your AGI was under $150,000, you just need to pay 100% of it. Divide by 4. That's $4,050 a quarter. April, June, September, January. 4 payments. If you send those in on time, it does not matter if you triple your income this year and end up owing $48,000 in April. No penalty. You owe the difference, sure, but the IRS isn't tacking on 8% interest on top. Now flip the scenario. Say last year was your breakout year and your AGI was $200,000. You crossed that $150,000 line, so now you're in the 110% bracket. If last year's total tax was, let's say, $42,000, your safe harbor target is $46,200. That's $11,550 a quarter. Same logic. Pay that, you're protected, regardless of what 2026 looks like for you. This is exactly why the prior year method is so powerful for freelancers with lumpy income. The accountant who lost a big client in February and the consultant who landed a whale in March both have the same safe harbor number because it's based on a year that's already closed. There's no guessing involved. The other option, 90% of current year tie-ups, is the one the IRS pushes in their own publications, and it's genuinely a worse deal for most freelancers. Think about what it requires. You have to know, in April, what your full year income is going to be. In June, you have to update that estimate. In September again. If you guess low, you owe a penalty on the shortfall for every quarter you underpaid. The IRS Form 2210 instructions lay out the annualized income installment method for people with uneven income, and I've filled out that form more than once. It is not a fun afternoon. The prior year method skips all of it. You write the same check 4 times. You don't reforecast. You don't care about whether Q3 was strong or weak. My take is simple. Unless your income dropped dramatically this year compared to last, prior year safe harbor wins every single time. It's set and forget. There's one situation where you flip the script, and this is where individual circumstances actually matter. If you had a huge income year last year and you really know, that this year is going to be much smaller, the 110% prior year number could end up being way more than you actually owe. In that case, paying 90% of the current year, even if you have to estimate it, saves you cash flow. You're not getting a refund of money you overpaid. You're just not lending the IRS money at 0 interest for 9 months. So, the rule of thumb I use: if this year's income is trending equal to or higher than last year's, ride the prior year safe harbor. If this year's clearly lower, switch to the current year method and estimate conservatively. Now here's the part where people get themselves in trouble even when they technically hit the safe harbor number. Timing. The IRS doesn't just look at the annual total, they look at each quarter. The deadlines for 2026 are April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th of 2027. Those aren't suggestions. If you pay your full annual safe harbor amount in January but skipped April, June, and September, you still owe penalties for those earlier quarters. The IRS treats each quarter as its own little deadline, and they calculate the penalty on a quarter-by-quarter basis using that 8% rate. The math gets ugly fast. So when I say pay 25% of your safe harbor number each quarter, I mean it. Don't backload, don't frontload, just spread it evenly. One workaround that's perfectly legal and almost no freelancer uses. If you have W-2 income on the side, or your spouse does, withholding from a paycheck is treated by the IRS as if it was paid evenly throughout the year, no matter when it actually happened. So if you blow past September 15th and realize you're behind, you can have your spouse jack up their W-2 withholding in November and December, and the IRS treats it as if you'd been paying all year. This is an IRS Publication 505. It's a get-out-of-jail-free card for couples where one person freelances and the other has a regular job. And I've used it personally to clean up a year where I just forgot to send Q3 in on time. A couple of edge cases worth flagging because they trip people up every year. First, the safe harbor only applies if your prior year return covered a full 12 months. If you started freelancing mid-2025, you can't use prior year safe harbor for 2026 the same way, I know. You have to use current year estimates. Second, the safe harbor protects you from the underpayment penalty, not from owing the tax. People hear safe harbor and think they're off the hook for the balance. You're not. You still owe every dollar of actual tax by April 15th. The safe harbor just kills the penalty for not paying it earlier. Third, if your total tax bill for the year comes in under $1,000 after withholding, there's no penalty regardless. According to the IRS, that's the de minimis floor. Useful to know if you're a part-time gig worker with a day job that already withholds. I cover taxes and retirement for self-employed workers, and if there's one thing I'd ask you to do after this, it's go pull last year's 1040 right now. Find the total tax line, multiply by 1.0 or 1.1 depending on your AGI, divide by 4, and set 4 calendar reminders. That's the entire game. You will save yourself the 8% penalty, the anxiety, and probably a couple weekends of forecasting spreadsheets. I'm not a licensed CPA or financial advisor. This is general education for freelancers, not personalized advice. If this cleared up the quarterly tax mess for you, hit subscribe. I put out one of these every week for people running their own one-person business. And if there's a specific freelance tax or retirement question you've been chewing on, drop it in the comments and I'll work it into a future video. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you on the next one.